in 4-low right now. We're using a little French drone, Anafi, my favorite drone. Takes the best video quality, maneuvers, follow mode.
We're in an LT1 8-speed in a later model JK. This was a manual transmission JK. We're out on the trail. Wendy is driving. I've got our little drone up, Anafi. A lot of guys ask me, what drone do you use? And I would say most of the footage is got with this little Parrot Anafi. In the old days, I used the 3DR Solo and the Unique Typhoon a lot. Maybe Wendy can get a picture of the Anafi. French drone weighs about 350 grams. It's got lookup capabilities. So we're out here test driving this LT1 8-speed. This vehicle had a 6-speed manual Pentastar in it. Now it's got an LT1 8-speed. Wendy is using tap shift off-road and 4-low. And these LTs have so much torque, it's almost not required. You could practically leave these things in 4 high. We're up steep hills, but it's not the same as it used to be. So these LTs not only change things on-road, but they change things off-road. They give you a lot more diversity in the gearing. This particular vehicle has some pretty steep gears. I'm thinking they're 538s, which is definitely not required with this LT. We're spinning up close to 2,500 RPM at 70. We want to see that down at about 2,000 RPM. So if this customer wanted to get the maximum economy, he'd probably want to switch his gears out to 1 or 2 steps taller. And that's one of the beauties of the LTs with the 8-speed is you can run a tall gear. You can run a 373 with 35-inch tires, or even a 488 with 40s and get away with it. You're cruising on the highway at 1,700 RPM at 70 miles an hour, but you still have all that torque off the line. And this is something that really you can't get with the 4 and the 5-speed transmissions. The 6L80 is somewhere in between. The 6L80 is a great transmission, and it has a 4-to-1 low and a 0.66 overdrive, but it's not going to give you the diversity of the 8-speed. Now when you combine the 8-speed along with the LT's torque, which is not only a lot of torque, but where it applies it at low RPM.
Going down this hill, I usually stay in anywhere between 1 to 3. So keeping it in 4 and 5 will be alright.
So Wendy noted she normally has transmission in 2nd or 3rd gear going down this hill, but in this vehicle we have it in 4th. We're actually in 4th gear crawling at about 6 miles an hour. You guys that want to run 4 or 5-to-1 transfer cases, you have to keep in mind, if you have an early JK, you got about a 2.8 first gear in your transmission. If you combine that with a Rubicon transfer case, which is about 4-to-1, you have about 11-to-1 ratio. If you have an 8-speed with a 4.6 first gear and you combine that with a Rubicon transfer case, or a 4 or 5-to-1 transfer case, you're pushing 20-to-1 plus, which basically means you can't get wheel speed up on these trails. So if you want to crawl at Moab or Logandale, that's great. But if you want to run trails and you go to a 4 or 5-to-1 transfer case, you're going to find that you're going to be in 4 high most of the time. And the LTs don't mind being in 4 high. They have so much bottom end torque that you can run most of these trails in 4 high, hold it back into 1st and 2nd gear, and you'll be fine. But I still recommend running about a 3-to-1 transfer case. It's the best overall combination of performance and speed and traction, meaning you need to get some wheel speed up, especially in mud, snow, sand, and it's easier to get when you have that taller gear. Now we're not working with a V6 here where we don't have any torque. We're working with an LT 8-speed, which means we got more torque than we need anywhere. So we're going to be able to keep that wheel speed up even in sand. These transmissions have a mode that I call maximum gear. So if you are in sand, mud, or snow, and you don't want to shift out of, let's say, 3rd or 4th gear, you can come to a stop, bump it up to that gear, and then it won't overshift that gear. That way you're not lugging the motor down and getting stuck. So these LTs have a lot of advantages that guys don't realize, not only in the engine and the direct injection and the torque, but in the transmission and the different modes the transmission offers you.
Alright.
I'm going down this little hill. I'm going to bump shift down to first. And you can see that we have to actually give it throttle to go down this hill where the tires will skid. So we're going to head back to the shop. We got a lot of LT builds there. We got some supercharged LTs, we got 5.3s, we got LT1s, we got 8 speeds, so stay tuned.